when it comes to my pitching, I've noticed a pattern that I'm leaving everything short, whether it's a 40, 50 or 60 yarder. I'm getting on the green, but I'm giving myself a very long first putt. So to help me work on this, I've asked my friend and golf pro, Zack Bedford, to have a look at my pitching technique to see what's going on that I can work on to start getting those approach shots a little bit closer.
And as you're releasing it early, you're basically getting the full force of loft to the ball, and it means you're coming in very shallow. So that produces a weaker, what we call a weaker ball flight, where it's not as piercing and it's coming up a bit high and a bit short. So what I would love to do is work on lowering the ball flight, and that will be by steepening the action a little bit.
So to try and lower that ball flight a little bit, what would you like me to start with?
Okay, well, obviously we identified that wrist hinge as an issue and the depth as an issue. So what I would love to focus on is using your chest to turn and not using our arms to create the length of backswing. So we're going to create width, and we're going to do a little drill where you're going to hold your right elbow in. Okay. With your left arm.
So should I start this way?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just
so holding that left, and you're going to create a bit of angle with your right hand, but whatever you choose, I don't want that to basically increase or decrease through the swing. Whatever angle you choose, we're going to use our chest to turn and still hold the width of swing.
Okay, taking a grip, left hand off then.
Left hand off, that's it.
In
the folds,
okay.
in the crease. Yeah,
and then a bit of a pinch, or just kind of
because you're going to keep your right hand fairly firm. Obviously, you're only using one hand; it's a little bit heavy, and you're going to create a bit of a backswing.
Just turning with the chest. Okay.
That's it. So, that's the angle you've created. That's more than fine.
Okay.
And then to create an increase in the length of swing, we're not going to fold our wrist over. Okay. We're just going to use our chest a little bit more to turn up and over, and we're holding that same angle throughout. That's it. So that angle's not changing.
That does feel different already. Yeah. So it obviously shows that I'm used to being very wristy. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Chest away.
That's it.
Set my angle.
If you want to increase the length, we have to turn that chest further. That's it.
Okay.
Yes. So from there, you can see you've got your right arm parallel, and yet the club isn't in a position where you need to push away anymore with the right hand.
I feel my hips quite back. Is that okay?
That's okay. I'm not too worried. I mean, what you can notice is it's not as deep anymore, and you're not stuck behind, okay? So the club is now outside the hands. That's what we're looking for. That's it. Good. And you haven't created any excess wrist hinge there that you need to release in order to hit the shot. So you're in a place now where you can turn down and hit, and it won't be too steep, and you've created a bit of angle to hit down on the ball.
Okay, gosh. Okay, right, I'll do some reps of that first. And I thought, do I have to hit a ball with one?
No, yeah, you're all good. I think just brushing the ground will be a good start. And I really want to finish facing the target. That shows me you've driven with your chest, and the club is facing the target by the end.
God, it really takes my concentration, which shows how, it's so easy just to slip to those defaults.
Previously, from here, it was working like this.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep this angle there. You've got the width of arc, and then you can use your chest to drive the swing. That's it, and turning, facing the target by the end. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. If your chest stops, you'll notice that you feel your hands work through. That's just because there's momentum on the club.
Yeah. That is a feeling I've had actually. I think when on the course, and say I, again having film stuff maybe and watched it back, I know my finish with my pitch shots can be quite low and left. And sometimes I think because maybe my habit has always been to be very active with the hands, I can almost leave the chest behind a little bit. So I guess this also would help me, having taken the hands out of it from the get-go, to really keep that chest as the driver. Yeah. Both in the backswing and then...
But we have to understand the reasoning why we're doing this, right? And so the reason why we don't want too much loft at impact is because, and also to not be too shallow. So you're getting a lot of contact with the ground as you're coming through, right? Yeah. So any sort of not so great lies, you're having to rely on the consistency of the ground before the ball. There's a time and place for that, not doubting it. But for consistency, we'd love to be hitting down onto the ball. Yeah. So to take that variability out of it. Yeah. And we're trying to raise your poor shot to be from a 3 or 2 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10, rather than making your best shot better, because it might be that a flop shot with the open face is the right shot, okay? Right. But generally speaking, it's usually a last resort. Yeah. So we'd rather build in a downward hit with a bit less loft to get a more penetrating ball flight.
Perfect. And I think that captures it actually, of what I'm looking to create throughout my game, but particular, I feel like this, you know, you're sort of 30 maybe to 70, 80 yard window of yardage is probably my weakest, because I don't feel I've got that repeatable swing.
Yeah.
And it just feels like a waste, because you think to yourself, you know, I'm laying back,
Yeah.
which partly is the course management side and wanting to think, right, I'll give myself a full shot. But particularly on par fives, you think, I want to be able to go for it, and I want to feel as confident when I'm zapping 56 yards as I am when I'm zapping 100, because 100, I'm like, brilliant, full pitch and wedge, freedom to swing. 56 yards, I feel, one, I immediately have a lot of options. And then I also have the past memories of thinking this is going to be short, so what should I do to adapt?
Yeah.
So just getting that repeatability of strike, and as you say, making the poor ones, like raising the level of the poor one, rather than trying to like better and polish the good one. The poor ones are what are letting me down at the minute. Okay, so
you should
squeezing
really
in here.
rather have 50 yards, you know, a 3 or 4 out of 10 shot from 50 yards should still be closer than like a 7 out of 10 from 100 yards.
Exactly.
Because you're that much closer.
Exactly.
That's
Here,
it. Width
is that
up.
okay?
So that's the angle that you've created with your wrist. So that's not going to change now.
Okay.
You can move your chest to hit the shot and drive down.
Is that too deep back there? No? Okay.
That's it. Hands are out, clubs outside the hands. That's perfect. You can move your chest, drive down now, and really take a bit of that's it.
Okay.
Good.
Gosh, it feels funny like hitting down.
Yeah.
Can't remember the last time I like intentionally took a divot off a pitch shot.
Well, yeah, we should be looking for that.
Oh, that felt a little releasey, maybe.
And you might have noticed it in the sound that the grass made, right?
Okay.
As you just brush the ground, as opposed to the thuds before, that shows me it's coming in shallower, right? You can work backwards from that sound. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, bit of a brush. Yeah, okay. Too shallow.
Well recognised.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it. Driving with the chest only. Okay.
Oh,
a little bit
still
better.
a brush.
Yeah, still.
And quite this.
Yeah.
Bit too much?
Well, you mentioned previously you're not used to having your chest be the driver. So I think you just sort of work back from this feeling of looking at the target with the club facing your chest and trying to work back from there. What would that look like, you know, at impact? I'd probably be somewhere around here, you know, where my...
Okay, so almost if I imagine you're the target for a second, I want to be finishing, let me think, I'm not going to actually swing it, so I won't cover you in mud, but I want to be finishing like here.
Yeah. So,
okay.
A bit more extended out. That shows me you would have the width, right? If you were really narrow, then the club would be, you know, pointing.
And
this
that's
side
me.
Yeah,
that's definitely me.
So we want that width where that butt end of the club is looking straight back into your torso. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're finding you're not quite brushing the ground, it might be that you're turning up and out, and then you're raising the club a touch. So it's just sort of getting to that by turning through and holding your spine angle throughout.
And again, that's something I'm trying to create at the minute, is that connection. But it feels like it's about, you know, connection in the width back here, but then also connection on the through.
Exactly.
So keeping that shape here as much as in the,
you've gone from backswing to follow through in the same position, right? And that's what we're looking for, consistency.
So should I try and hit one with those feels now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I want to feel that I chest drives away.
That's it.
Turn with the angle.
Yeah, you're not allowed to use those hands to extend the length of the backswing.
Okay, just the chest.
Okay. So we got to our right spot, which was around here, but the angle that your wrist had increased as the swing got longer, okay? So from that position with a 54 degree, that will have enough distance to go there. And I think there's a sort of element of trust there that, you know, I can have a half swing and still make it there as long as the launch was correct.
Yes, okay. So that was a little bit too much adding my own wrist hinge.
Yeah, we'll get you on a slightly tighter lie so you don't get away with it.
Okay, perfect. When you say width, is it that
width,
pushing away?
Pushing away, feeling like that left arm is dead straight. You're feeling a tension in your wrist of touch.
And then just turn with that.
You've had too little tension. Obviously, that might not be the case for every golfer. But for yourself, you're trying to keep that same angle your wrist created throughout. Okay. Touch high.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
But I
We need
could
to
feel that
lower
was
it.
maybe still quite a bit behind the ball. Tightish lie.
Just trust the fact that from that initial point, that is a plenty long swing to get to the target as long as you're driving with the chest down.
Oh, that's very low.
Yeah, so you're going to have to play about with it.
Yeah,
That's all right.
that's all right.
That's fine.
I think this is what it's about, isn't it? It's trying to find, when you're working on a new feeling, taking the feeling that feels odd to the extreme.
Yeah.
Because
shows you the
throughout
boundaries.
my swing and like golf journey, obviously being very wristy has just been what for some reason, it's how I thought you should swing the club. So I've got to really try and undo that there.
That's great, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
okay.
In previous times I've seen this sort of work out this way a touch, as I know from your channel. So it just feels like an extension out towards me. You're almost giving me the club head that's working angle. Right, so your wrist has this much angle now. That's fine. That's how much you've created. From there to move the club further is just going to be a chest turn. Imagine you're grabbing your right elbow. You can't release it. You have to move your elbow further around.
This does feel alien, which is, I can tell how different I must have been doing it, if that makes sense. So I guess even just having, when I'm here on my own, even if I put my bag where you are, Zach, would it be a case of like thinking, right, I'm going to reach to that?
Yeah, that looks brilliant.
And then just turn?
Yeah, just turn.
I don't know.
So trying to a bit more tension in the right hip, so it doesn't work back as much. You're just sort of trying to use your chest turn.
So that's you.
That's it. Looks great.
Just chest.
That's it.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the club's not miles behind you anymore.
Yeah, I know I can get quite
because from there you kind of have to make adjustments, to get back to the ball. But when that club head you're extending out to me, you're not getting stuck behind where you have to release the angle now. Okay. So we want to see one come out a lot lower with a good strike, obviously, where you come out towards me and you drive down with the chest, finishing looking at the target. Not quite.
You're happy with these, but they're not what we want.
Of course, yeah. That's perfectionist in us. That's no problem. But you're reaching the desired spot, and then it's working back to your old habits again. Okay. So you almost have to train yourself to keep in that right position and drive from there.
Yes.
Maybe if it has to be a 30-yard shot, you work with that. You trust that it can come out lower, and then as you move back, it's just a case of extending the length of swing with the chest turn rather than the wrist hinge. So
my homework, let's say, and take away from this in, and I think this actually will ripple through the rest of my swings, won't it? Through into like what I should also be doing as someone that's wristy and casty in long game. But starting here, if I'm right in thinking from what you've just said there, the focus is, with that takeaway, reach width to you.
Yeah, looks brilliant.
Is that okay, that feel?
I kind of want to feel like the club head. No. Club head and your hands are almost in that sort of same zone. So they're almost blocking, the club head's almost blocking those hands out.
And so I guess, again, it's like hands in front of chest.
Yeah.
Then the bit I think I really need to work on is this bit where I just turn my chest. I don't add any.
Because I'm watching your chest and your right hip work back at the same rate. Suddenly you're going to get quite deep then. And then from that deep position, if I told you to just turn, you're probably going to get stuck behind. And then the solution for that would be to release.
Okay.
So you want to see your release. Okay, it is a problem, but just solving that is not the way to go.
No.
You have to know why you did that.
Okay, so then from here, my main challenge, I think, is really building on that next step of the swing, which is use the chest to turn, but not really with the hips for pitching.
Okay. Well, that looks like a good setup there. Okay. It's just that any further and you just keep going around and deep.
And get more collapsy.
That's it.
Okay, so feels are there. Width to you.
That's it. Well,
chest.
When you know that your hands can't do anything, that should, by deduction, you'll know you have to drive your chest through to the shot, right?
And I think it's just getting familiar. It's almost trying to switch the driving force.
Yeah.
In my, muscle memory, the driving force has always been my hands. And I've been working on specifically just that initial, like, one-piece takeaway, which has, I've got a lot of work to do on that for it to come out on the course. But I definitely notice when I do slow swings, when I do the really short pitch shots, here in the practice area, that comes to life a little bit. But now it's almost that building block to get to the top of my backswing, whether that's a short one, hopefully, or a longer one for the range stuff. It's really feeling, like you say, the hands are not the driver at all. It's the chest.
Yeah.
And to almost do the work to like switch that
in your head.
That default sort of muscle that I turn to. At the minute I turn to hands, and I want to be switching to switch the hands off, go to chest.
That's it. And when you're working with your chest, that, you know, the butt end of the club and the club head are not really sort of independent, they're all working together. And then that's that consistency you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant. Thank you, Zack.
No worries.
I'm going to keep practicing. So many nuggets from that session with Zack. The main things, my checklist that I'm going to remember for when I'm practicing is that feeling of width in my takeaway, feeling like I'm really focusing on using the chest to drive that takeaway, not letting my hands get too active. But then it's that next step. That was really that light bulb moment for me, because I've been working a lot on my takeaway, as you might know. But it's that next building block where I think my wrists have still been coming into play as I turn to the top. So my focus really to feel that width is that sense of reaching for Zack when he was standing behind me, but then knowing that at that point, my wrists are set. I don't need to get any more wristy than I am already. Stick with that and just use my chest to turn to the top. And I know a checkpoint that if I've achieved that width in the backswing, if I've got into a good position and then just use the chest to turn to the top, the checkpoint for me in the follow through will be again that my hands feel in front of my chest. They're connected in that triangle, rather than what I can see as mine get a little bit low and left if I've over-released, if I've got too shallow. So that's what I'm going to be working on, those checkpoints in my technique. And what feels really exciting actually is, although this was focused on pitching, I know these are moves that I want to groove into my long game as well. So although it's separate swings, they feel like similar, if not the same tendencies that I need to be working on.